Welcome, dear students. We are continuing with our topic metals and non-metals. This is the third part of the topic and this is the last part. So let's begin. Well, so till now we have learned about metals, non-metals and metalloids. We have learned about their physical properties and chemical properties. Now we are going to learn about noble metals. If you can recollect in the earlier video while talking about examples like gold, platinum, I had used the word noble metal, right? Yes, so these noble metals, the examples given over here are gold, silver, platinum, palladium and rhodium. Now why they are termed as noble metals? They occur in nature in the elemental state. Gold, which is 100% pure, is called 24 karat gold. Pure gold is soft. As a result, the ornaments made from pure gold bend and break due to pressure. Therefore, goldsmith mixes it with certain proportions of copper or silver. Ornaments are made from 22 karat gold or gold with still smaller carat value. Now, noble metals are basically those metals which do not react with the outside atmospheric oxygen or water. So their shine remains as it is. Okay, so here they do not get spoiled. Now you might say, why silver turns black, it turns greenish in color, right? But if you clean it, so it's only temporarily that it gets spoiled when it comes in contact with atmospheric oxygen. But when you clean it, it shines in the similar manner. But if you take an example of iron, okay, if it rusts and if you clean the rust, you can see some part of iron is damaged. So here, pure form of gold is known as 24 karat of gold. Now we cannot use this 24 karat gold for making of jewelry, because if you are using this jewelry on daily basis, it might bend and even break. Therefore we have different metals added to it like copper or silver. So here you must have heard 22 karat. 22 karat or 18 karat is usually used for making of jewelry made out of diamond. So to hold diamond you require a little hard metal, and therefore they use 18 karat of gold which is mixed with some amount of silver or some other metal. So let us see now what are the uses of it. So gold, silver, platinum and rhodium, all of these can be used for ornaments. Silver is used in medicines also. It has antibacterial property. Gold and silver also used to make medals. Gold and silver is used to make few electronic devices also. And platinum, palladium metals are used as catalyst. Now what is a catalyst? Catalyst is a chemical which is being added to any reaction to increase the rate of reaction. But it doesn't interfere with the reaction. It only helps to proceed with the reaction. That is the meaning of the word catalyst. So now what exactly do you understand by the term purity of gold? 100% pure gold is 24 karat. Pure gold is soft. Therefore, gold ornaments prepared by pure gold may break or bend due to pressure. So here, purity of gold can be written in percentage form. Just have a look at this table given here. So 24 karat gold is 100% pure. 22 karat is 91.66. 18 karat is 75%. 14 karat is 58.33. 12 karat is 50%. And 10 karat is 41.66. So here, depending on the amount of gold used, you have the percentage given here, and accordingly the carat is being counted. Observe the three pictures given here. You can see these three pictures have some or the other object made out of metal, correct? Now there's one thing common in all the three pictures is that the three pictures are showing us that the objects are rusted. Correct? The iron nails, the iron chain, and the Statue of Liberty. Yes, the Statue of Liberty is not actually green in color. Originally, when it was made in 1886, it was copper in color, and then because of the presence of oxygen in the atmosphere, and since it is next to seawater, it has turned green in color over the years. So this is actually rusting which has taken place. So now here these three are showing us a property known as corrosion. Okay, so we will see what exactly is corrosion. So corrosion is a process of deterioration or decay of metal as a result of its reaction with air and water. So if you're talking about iron, it is termed as rusting, and if you talk about silver, when silver turns greenish or blackish in color, it is termed as tarnishing. Okay. So now let us see how do different metals react with oxygen and different gases. So first we have iron. Iron reacts with oxygen and it forms reddish colored deposit. Then copper. Copper reacts with carbon dioxide and it forms greenish colored deposit. Whereas silver reacts with hydrogen sulfide gas and it forms blackish colored deposit. So here this is the reaction of different metals with different gases. Now let us see different ways in which we can prevent this corrosion. So sometimes layers of oil, grease, varnishes and paints are being applied on metal objects. You must have seen your bicycles or even your metal toys or many metal articles are being painted or coated. That is to prevent rusting. Plating or coating with another non-corroding metal is done on metals. For example, iron is coated with zinc, due to which its contact with air is lost and corrosion does not occur. So even the huge ships which go into the ocean, they can get corroded because they are made out of metal. So they are also being painted so that there is no contact with the seawater and the reaction doesn't corrode the metal. Yes, so we just now saw an example of Statue of Liberty getting rusted, but here we have our own Qutub Minar in Delhi, which is made around like 1500 years ago. Now here in the premises of Qutub Minar, you can see a pillar over there, which is an iron pillar. Now the pillar still is lustrous even after so many years. Now what is the reason behind this? The reason behind this is our ancestors have not made it from metal, but they have made it from an alloy. Alloy is nothing but mixture of two or more metals, or a metal and a non-metal. So this particular pillar contains small proportions of carbon, silicon and phosphorus mixed with iron. So let us see exactly what is an alloy and see some examples of an alloy. So what is an alloy? Alloy is a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals, or a homogeneous mixture of metals with non-metals. Now what is the meaning of the word homogeneous? Homogeneous means a mixture where you cannot see the original substances anymore. So it has combined so well that it is forming one clear, you can say one mixture. So it has become one substance now. Okay. So homogeneous means any two substances which mix completely into each other. So here alloy is nothing but a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals, or it can be a metal and another non-metal. So alloys are made by mixing the constituent elements as per the requirement. So if I require my product or the alloy to be hard or strong, I will mix the different metals in such format. So maybe if I want my alloy to be shiny as well as strong, so I'll mix a metal which is shiny and a metal which is strong. Okay. So looking at these different constituents of the elements, they are mixed and an alloy is formed. So here we have some examples. Stainless steel utensils used at homes are made of an alloy of iron with carbon, chromium and nickel. Now iron is very strong, but it can rust. So we have a mixture of chromium, nickel and carbon, which is going to prevent this, and it is going to help to get us the product which is stainless steel. And we know stainless steel can be used for years and years. It doesn't get spoiled. It will only get spoiled if it is of poor quality. Sometimes the steel utensils, they get spoiled because more iron is being used in them. Next we have an example, that is bronze. Bronze is also an alloy and it is formed with the combination of copper and tin. So copper turns blackish in color, but tin does not. So it prevents the tarnishing or rusting of copper. So here we come to end of our chapter. Please make sure that you go through the chapter thoroughly. Read the chapter, practice all the reactions thoroughly. Keep studying, keep revising, and all the best for your exams.